This year is definitely coming strong with numerous AAA titles, and with a lot of action adventure games around the corner, it's definitely a moment of excitement. My friends, I am Henry and this is Henry SVTV coming at you with more exciting gaming news. And today we will be talking about a game that is starting to gain more and more attention, and that is Kena Bridge of Spirits. Now this game is coming for the PC, PS5 and 4, and it's coming on March this year. So make sure to stay for the complete video because we want to talk about the inspiration for this game, along with the main story, protagonists, and lastly about the main key features for this title. But before that, I want to ask you to please give this video a thumbs up so that we can get to more people, and if you enjoy this content, consider subscribing for more gaming news in the future. Now without further ado, let's go ahead into the video. Now the first thing that comes to my mind when I see this game is that it does look very interesting. I consider this game has a tremendous potential, not to mention that the game is developed by Ember Lab, who are a 14-person independent studio who has worked on multiple projects before. But that alone, it only shows that 14 people can create great projects when they are passionate about it, and you can see that passion in this video game. But what makes Kena so appealing? When I first saw the trailer, it reminded me of The Legend of Zelda. Now this is my own perspective, maybe you can share with me what you think in the comments below. But interesting to know is that Ember Lab worked on a short film which is based on The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, which is titled Terrible Fate, but I consider that in some way the inspiration for the game is coming from there. Additionally, I consider developers have been able to add a unique touch to the game, making a compelling story, an animated and unique universe which is filled with lots of colors and life, and even though it's an animated universe, it still has a lot of details. But what about the main story about this game? Well, you'll see. This one is an action-adventure game where you will follow the main protagonist, who is called Kena. She is a spirit guide who has magical abilities and helps deceased people move from the physical to the spirit world. You will play this game from a third-person perspective, and within this adventure, you will have to face multiple challenges and enemies. Now, I've seen two main moves so far, which are Kena's Pulse ability, which I'm going to talk about that in a moment, along with Kena's magic staff, which by the way, after an upgrade, it can be transformed into a bow. Other characters that you will find through this journey are small spirit companions known as the Rot. They will be your faithful companions, as they are some sort of support that you can later use to complete tasks such as moving objects, taking certain shapes, or distracting enemies, and I consider that they will also be your main support when completing puzzles. And as a side note, this game does include an option to customize the Rot. They can be customized within the game with different hats so that you can select the one that suits you the best. Now, players will use Kena's staff for attacking enemies and her Pulse ability for defending against them. As for Kena's abilities, as mentioned a moment ago, Kena uses her staff to attack enemies. You can create light, heavy, and charged attacks. Now, as a defensive measure from enemies, you will be able to use Kena's Pulse ability, which will act as a shield, although I want you to know that the shield has a health meter that depletes when attacked. Now, about the main key features for this game, we already talked about this, but once again, this game will offer the ability to build your own team, and we know already that we can collect these companions called the Rot, who will aid your journey exploring and solving puzzles. The next key feature is exploration, because this game is not only about combat, but it also includes exploration elements. One of the main locations in this video game is this village, which at first Kena has to get there, and I understand a curse has to be lifted so that it can be fully restored. Now, one question that I have for this is whether if this village will serve as a main hub where you will have to move from this location to another one when completing other missions or exploring new locations. But definitely that would be fantastic if that was the case. Now, the last key feature that I want to highlight here is the dynamic and interesting fast-paced combat style that will be available in this game, and to me it has great concept. Finding spirits who are trapped and unable to move on sounds great, and the combat style as well seems dynamic. Now, the only thing that I expect from combat though is multiple combinations of attacks, sometimes not having a variety of weapons or a variety of different moves can be challenging, as combat scenarios can turn repetitive in some way, but we will see how this one turns out. As a matter of fact, I am very curious to see what you guys think, so if you want to comment down below, I would truly appreciate that. Alright my friends, this has been everything for today's video. Again, if you enjoyed this content, consider subscribing for more gaming news and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Stay tuned for more and I will see you on my next video. Goodbye.